All right. Well, good. Well, it's already 2 o'clock. I hope you guys are already getting some refreshments and snacks. Oh, that's cruel. That's cruel. Oh, giving them a hard time over there. Well, welcome, everybody, and I appreciate everybody taking the time to come in the afternoon and to allow me to meet you, hear questions or comments that you've submitted or others have online submitted. We actually have like 24 people that said they were coming, so we'll see if schedules changed and maybe everybody gets here or not. But I appreciate, I'll introduce a few people. Darren Dunn is in the back. He's with our IT media department, and he's doing a recording. We're not doing live feed this time, just doing a recording. So it'll be posted later. And then Phil Schreier in the back over there is our development director, and there were some questions about what are the projects that are coming up. So he's gonna talk about those a little bit. And then Kun Wai, the superintendent's administrative assistant, will be taking notes, and so she'll be able to get those responses documented. This time of conversation has usually been very helpful for me. I hope for you as well, as it does give us feedback and ideas about maybe things that we should look at or consider, need to improve, or you become more informed about and everything. So I do really, again, appreciate your coming to the meeting today and making that time available. Hello, come on in, come on in. Yeah, there's some snacks and refreshments. If you'd like something there, please help yourself or come sit wherever you are comfortable. Thanks for joining us. Hello guys, join us, thank you. All right, so I'll start with just a little introduction. My name's Steve Anderson. I'm in my 9th year here at Grace International School as the superintendent of the school. I have 5 children, 3 are married, and we have 3 grandchildren. The latest one, born in November, and they live in Malaysia, so we got to fly over at the end of January to meet our youngest daughter, granddaughter Gracie. So these are my kids, 2 of the grandkids there. This was at my dad's 90th birthday in Florence, Alabama, in July, end of July, August, and so it was just a beautiful time to be there with everyone. But so I'm an MK. I grew up on the mission field. My parents were on the mission field for 28 years. I went to Faith Academy in Manila, Philippines. Todd Entner knows that place. He was there, and so I grew up in a school similar to this, in an environment with godly teachers, administration, families, and people at a school similar to this. So I feel pretty sure and connected with what this school is and who it's for. Specifically, our mission statement that we are a school exists for international Christian workers, so that those families can remain abroad. We provide a quality, affordable education that addresses the spiritual growth and development of your students, and that we were started in 1999. Gene Foltz, our founder, and then 5 mission organizations came together to start and establish Grace International School. And now we're in our 27th year, and we're already looking ahead to the 30th year and how we might celebrate that and everything. But anyway, any questions about me personally or my family?
How many years were you at Faith?
I started kindergarten there, and then we left. My parents left the field for 6 years. My brother had some pretty severe asthma and health conditions, and so I was gone from 1st through 6th grade, and then came back 7th through 12th grade. But we've been over there a long time. So hello, please come in, have a seat anywhere, and there are some refreshments in the back if you would like anything there. But glad you could come. Yeah. All right.
Who do you cheer for when Faith plays Grace?
Oh, Grace. Grace, I'm Grace through and through. Come on, join us anywhere you would like. Grace through and through now. But my daughter, Beth Ann, the one in the middle, back in the back, she will wear Grace shorts and a like Faith T-shirt or something because she spent half her time there and then half her time here. But no, I had a great experience growing up. Typhoons that would come through. The school was leveled and destroyed, and a lot of fundraising to rebuild the school while we were there. There were horrible things as well, kidnappings, deaths, and different things. Coups. I've sat through a couple of coups in the Philippines and kind of thing. And my mom never wants to know all the stories. One time I rode my bicycle down to watch the fighting that was going on between the rebels and the army. The rebels had taken over a hotel and were in the rooms up there, and the army had their tanks and guns and they were shooting at each other, and me and all these other people just on the street, bystanders, just watching, this. And so we would never encourage your children to go do that kind of thing. This is all before cell phones and tracking, right, where my parents didn't know where I was at times, but that's all right. Well, so thanks for that. It was fun. So at Grace, like I mentioned, we're here to enable our international Christian workers, our families, to remain on the field, to do what they're here to do. We equip students to a biblically integrated education to engage the community. We cultivate a diverse GIS community that partners and cares for one another. So this is a summary of our mission, vision, and values. We have our posters up in the classrooms, hallways, and banners that maybe you saw downstairs. That again, just continue to keep us focused. We're a school that does not want to enter into mission drift. And so we always keep those reminders about who we are, who we're here for, and how we're here to serve. Any questions? If you have a question or something, please feel free to raise your hand.
Oh, actually,
yeah.
So would you say that, so the main folks that you're trying, the main reason for existence, because it's not specified, the main reason for existence is for missionaries and missionary kids?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Is that somewhere in,
on our mission statement, it says specifically for international Christian workers so that they can remain abroad, and we would have a quality, affordable education for them. So it's located a few other places within our website, the emphasis of that. Also, our financial brackets that we have as well would indicate discounts from the published rate, depending on your mission agency, whether you're gold, silver, or bronze, whether you're a founder or an associate member or something like that. So yeah, when those 5 mission organizations got together, they wanted to figure out a way to provide the quality, affordable education for missionary families. So, yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, is there any, I'm just familiar with one of our kids went to a school for missionary kids in Kenya, and there was a certain percentage that had to be Kenyan nationals.
Oh, right.
So is there any requirement in Thailand for GIS? Like, is it possible that GIS could have 100% just missionary kids, or is that?
It is possible, although we do provide significant incentives, especially for our Thai staff, and so their children receive a great discount in the education that they get here as well. So it's conceivable. We have what we call an 80-20 ratio. So up to 80% of our student body population must fill the seats with missionary families or international Christian workers. We can allow up to 20%. Right now, we're at about 86% international Christian worker, 14% standard families. Yeah.
Is that 80% board mandated? Is that something that will
Correct.
be part of the
Correct. It is. Correct. Different schools have had 90-10, 60-40. Some say a majority. Others Others don't have, any really delineation in that, just different schools. And truthfully, we know that sometime down the road or the future, for GIS to exist, it could mean that changes, that number shifts. So the board is very, very well aware of that. They monitor trends in mission agencies and in, like we just had elections here in Thailand. Things could happen and they say no longer having religious affairs visas or other things, or foundations may not be able to function in a way. And so it could be really challenging to put 80% international Christian workers to fill the classrooms. Great question. Yeah. Others? Yeah, please don't let me rush by without. So our vision statement, as it says there, vision of Grace International Schools, that every student will know who they are in Christ and that they will experience a quality education in an inspiring learning environment, and that they'll be equipped with the biblical worldview to impact the world for Christ. So it doesn't mean every student is a believer or has to be a believer, but we do want them to know who God is in relation to them, and that should they want to know more about a faith journey with the Lord, we're providing the tools for them, the resources and access to do that. As an MK growing up, I knew there were kids at my school that were not believers. To be a student at this school, you do not have to be a believer. So then we focus on, in our educational aspects and all around, our heart, head, and hands. And you can see some of the terminology. These are off of our website as well that you would find, and you could read more about those. But yeah, the goal is a biblical worldview infused into our curriculum and education. So one of the questions that came up was about campus development, our projects. This map is pretty recent in what we have. Phil may have a different one, but I'm going to invite Phil to come on up and he can click the links that would then take us to a slideshow presentation that he has. But as you can see, we encompass quite a big footprint of the area around here. Okay, so this is the entrance, the parking, and this doesn't even have the latest picture of our covered parking. So we're up here in the administration building, just for your bearings. Okay, Phil, you'll need this?
The next slide.
Yeah.
The link.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, before you go on,
You can click it.
so thankful to be here. Thank you guys so much for coming. You are just a small representation of the people that I serve, and as God allows me, hopefully I'm able to continue to do that. One of the focuses that we have is completing phase one. Phase one means what we started back in 2018, 2019, when we started this building. Yeah, me right here. Thanks. When we started in 2019, when we came into this campus, we had a vision to complete phase one, and that included some of the buildings that you may see on campus here that are still incomplete. And so I want to go ahead and, should I click on it?
Go ahead. You click on that.
I want to talk about some of the stuff that we've got going on for phase one. Oh. All right. Am I driving at this point?
Yep.
Okay. So there's two things on here that are part of phase one and then two that are not. I want to talk about the two that are not first. This one here at the front portion of the parking, maybe you parked around here, so you might have seen one of the improvements that we currently have here. There's a second one that's right next to middle school. There's a third one behind middle school. And then there's this fourth one that's in athletics. So let's talk about each one of them real quickly. The first one is the Grace Prayer Garden, and that is almost complete. That was a picture that was taken a couple days ago. They just finished stamping the concrete. There's a couple more things they have to do with that, but that is an opportunity for parents, students to come in and find solitude, find a quiet place so that they can spend time with Christ, so that they can be praying. And so that's almost finished. There's some, they're going to put some flowers in here. There's going to be a plaque that's put right in the middle. I don't know if you can see this right in the middle here. Right now there's a little platform that will have a plaque on it. And then there will be benches that are here so that people can come either as a group or as an individual and come and just spend some quiet time. So that is the Grace Prayer Garden up next to where athletics is. And by the way, the work that I am doing, most of it is from donations that come outside of what's happening inside when people pay the tuition. And so the work that I'm doing is connecting with donors that are interested in international Christian education. They love the idea of what we're doing and providing support to missionary families and to the people here in Chiang Mai, Thailand. And so this one came from a donor. They funded the entire project along with a different donor that gave us money to create a middle school seating area. And I talked to Kun Ming, who is the facilities director, and he said that we could change the way that we're doing this a little bit, and instead of just doing one tree, we would actually do two. And so right now what we're doing, you might go back there and see, we've already taken the grass away, and we're going to be putting pavers along with a bench area around this tree, and then also around the tree in the back. And so that's a place so that middle school can not only have a place to play, but if they want to, like my son, he's in middle school. He's not the type to play soccer and volleyball and all that. He wants to sit and draw. And so we want to give each one of our students the opportunity, regardless of what they're interested in. And that's an AI generation of what that might look like. The only difference is it won't look exactly like that, but there will also be a section here that's cut out so that the concrete matches with the pavers. And like Steve said, if you have any questions, let me know. The third one that we have is actually right behind the middle school building. This is part of my official development work that is part of Phase 1. Phase 1 was always to have this performing arts building and to have this building along with number 4 that I'm going to talk about in a second will be the completion of Phase 1. I don't love that we keep calling it Phase 1 because it's 6-7 years old, but let's say that we're close enough to the end that we're going to call it Phase 1 and finish here. The great news about the Performing Arts Building is that it is funded 100% as long as we get correct bids and everything works out with the finances. The projection is that we're 100% funded for that building. Just keep in mind that the Performing Arts Building is part 1 of 2 of the Performing Arts Center. And so the Performing Arts Building is the classrooms that will give band and choir what the specific space that they need to be in their classrooms. And then the second phase of that is the auditorium. The auditorium is not part of the Performing Arts Building. It will be part of the larger complex, which will go right next to it, straight behind us, past the green area, past the grass area. But for right now, it's just the classrooms that we're talking about. So that is part of Phase 2. Okay. Yep. When we created the phases, the auditorium was part of Phase 2.
And you have a ballpark 5 years. What's your hope for that?
Yeah. So we have to finish Phase 1 first, which includes the Tiger Fieldhouse and Gym, which is what we'll talk about in a second. We're hoping to have that done in the next couple years. I would love to see that done. Right after that, that's probably going to be one of the first things that we do in Phase 2. And so without giving any promises, I'm looking at maybe the next 4 years, 5 years. Yeah. So we'll finish the Tiger Fieldhouse and Gym, the Gym and Fieldhouse in the next 2 years, and then start raising money, which will probably be $1 million anyway, for the auditorium. And as soon as we can get that money raised, some of it depends on how fast we can get the money. Yep.
Do capitalization fees go directly into these phase projects?
Good question for the finance director.
No. These are all donor funded. The capitalization fees are for upkeep of the buildings, a new roof, new air conditioners, broken water pipes, water system. So those types of things are capital fees that come from you, upkeep, the maintenance of the school. So all that you see, God has blessed us with people that have donated the funds for us to do that. We did earn some income from the sale of property in World Club, the elementary building that was there. generated some of the capital for us to be able to build what we have now.
If you haven't posted it publicly, it might be good to spread that in the community, because when you did your fundraising campaign, I heard a couple people say something like, well, we gave capitalization fees to the schools that are already contributing to these projects.
Right.
That might be helpful to some people.
Yeah.
That's really good feedback. I appreciate that because sometimes those fees are not as clear as we'd like them to be. So this is the footprint, of course, just a rendering of what the Performing Arts Building would look like, along with the footprint of what it will look like inside these 3 classrooms. There will also be some changes once they move out of fine arts. There'll be some changes there, and perhaps some clubs will move into those 2 classrooms where band and choir currently is. The last one is the Tiger Fieldhouse and Gym. That's currently, if you go out and take a look, I'd encourage you not only to go look, but just take a lap and pray over that space. Because like we said, God is the one that's providing the increase here. And so we're praying that He is giving us the resources that we need to complete this building. And once it's complete, it will look something like this. Still trying to figure out exactly what that looks like, but one of the first things that we want to do is pour the concrete. And so we already know what the footprint will look like, because we've gotten the initial okay to say this is what the footprint will look like, because when we pour this concrete, we have to do the plumbing. And so we know approximately what the plumbing will look like. And so this will be the field house piece. It'll actually be 2 stories. First one will be locker rooms for home and away, and then also training and offices, and of course a gym on the other side. Any questions? I think that's the last one. Yeah. Any final questions on it? Yes.
First story is the right, and the gym is the second.
Yes. So this is closer to us, and then the first floor. So this is first floor, and then the second floor is actually not shown. It's more classrooms and a workout space. Good question.
And the one on the left is what's already there, or is
that would be future.
or future?
Yep. This is the entire footprint. So if we're looking at the footprint here, the gym would be on this near side, and then the field house would be on the far side closer to the school. Oh, good question. That's all I have. Any other questions? I'm going to be here afterwards too if you guys want to continue to talk about it. I'm happy to continue that conversation.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, great. Thank you, Phil, for sharing that. Exciting times, and it is truly amazing to see how God provides and has provided for us to be able to continue that. One of the questions that's come up is our staffing needs, and these again are on our website, and we continue to, the key element for the success of the school is our staff, the quality staff that we have that provide a vibrant workspace and an inspiring learning environment. All of our non-TIE staff raise their own support to come here, to work and to live. Our Thai nationals do receive a salary, and it includes their benefits, retirement, health insurance, and things like that. So very, very fortunate. We have just under 100 non-Thai staff and just under 100 Thai staff. So that's almost 200 staff members. Let me pull my podium a little more to the side so I'm not blocking you guys a little bit there. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, great. So academic counselor, computer science teacher for high school, English teacher, math teacher, PE teacher, social studies teacher, and sports leadership teacher. I'm so pleased Carol Chawla, our HR personnel support officer, is here. Phil is also our recruitment coordinator, and they have done an outstanding job. We actually have multiple applicants for a lot of these positions already, which is incredible. What we normally do, Carol?
And we've just taken 2 off the website. So.
Okay. Yeah, hired 2 more. And then an elementary, and then administration. You can see those positions there as well. So when we start in November with a letter of intent to our staff members to ask if they know for sure if they're coming back the next year. And they can put, yes, I know, I'm uncertain, I'm 80% sure, 60%. If by January they're still uncertain or below 50%, we will post their job. So they might stay even into March, let us know. But by March, we start the renewal of visa applications with the Ministry of Education and the Immigration Office. And so we need to know sooner. This has tremendously helped our school to start that early, because in previous years when people could wait until May to tell us I'm not returning, then sometimes we only had like 2 months to find an English teacher or a math teacher, and that was quite challenging. One of the questions in here is about retention and how do we get our staff, and there's a 20% turnover like industry standard, and we are well below that. We've seen a trend over the last 4 years of having fewer and fewer replacements. Our staff are staying around 7.5 to 8 years for the average for the non-Thai. Our Thai staff, it's considerably higher as they're salaried and stay on, and they stay on for years and years. Ajahn Air, our school director, is in her 27th year here with the school. She started with the school. It's just incredible how many years she's been here with us. A couple of, one of our custodial ladies has been here from the beginning. Others 25, 20 plus years. So a lot of just great stability and in our Thai staff to stay that long. Okay.
Can you define the CNI?
Curriculum and Instruction Coordinator. That is the person on a team that helps work with elementary, middle school, and high school about what curriculum we're going to use, what we're going to implement. They also work to help us stay with accreditation standards, making sure that what we're teaching meets the collegiate requirements for graduation. So they work really close with the principals on what we select and what we teach. And then also our professional development, what teachers need to keep up their certification and renewal for us to stay in compliance. Great. Thank you. Ways we hope you're staying connected is through the staff roar. The weekly roar, my superintendent's monthly updates. The principals are usually sending out information, but some people feel like, oh, I get stuff all the time, and others feel like I never know anything, kind of thing. It's really on all ends of the spectrum. But we hope you're finding the information you need or want, and in the method or ways that you are able to receive it and process it. But the website, social media, our band app. Last year when we had a bomb threat here at the school, we were trying to use AIS's phone service, like an SMS message, and that did not work for us. So we transferred to this band app, which is an internal type of app that we could then send that emergency message to you. So that's what band is up here. There's a QR code downstairs at the reception's desk. There should be other places you could find that QR code if you don't have that band app. So should there be a sudden closure of the school or an emergency announcement, that would be where your phone is going to get it. Otherwise, it will be email or social media post. Teacher staff appointments. You're always welcome to write the elementary, middle school, high school offices, make an appointment to have a conversation with the teacher or the principals. That's usually your first place, your first point of contact for issues that you have or questions. Educational support. Our school is so blessed to have actually 13 dedicated staff members to the educational support needs of our families. Roughly 100 students are serviced through those 13 staff members that are dedicated. We have 2 students that take one-to-one care, others that maybe take a little bit more care, but this is a very unique and rare thing for a school, and we're very, very fortunate. Some years we may not be able to have all 13 that we're allowed, just because of staffing. But right now we've been fully staffed, and it's really been really great, really helpful. Health services, our nurses downstairs continue to provide information about immunizations, health concerns, registration packets as you go through, updates. Government says you need this shot or this vaccination or something like that. We're really fortunate again to have a Korean, a Thai, and a Canadian nurse in that nurse's office. And so that is a real blessing to have those students that can come in with those different heart languages. And then admissions in the front office as you came through, or other areas or avenues, whether it's the finance, the school director, and the admissions coordinator down there. Any questions? Obviously, there's other things throughout the year. Yes?
With regard to the band app, I mean, I'm on it thing because all the athletics people were more or less forced to be.
Right.
But like, for example, my wife has perpetually griped about needing another app.
Right.
So, I mean, is band the only way that the school currently releases out emergency information?
At this point in this level, and that choice to go away from the Facebook and those others is because that information, your information, is then transferred and sold and marketed and all that others, where the band app is a more internally closed type of thing, and so not forcing or expecting families to have to submit to those social media platforms. The band app has been our choice to try to keep things more secure. I have Slack, I have WhatsApp, I have Facebook, I have Google Hangouts or Meets. I've got about 6 of these in your phone, ding, 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 from the different ones that people are using. And so it is quite a challenge. And I agree with your wife. It is a pain to have to keep up with all those different apps and stuff, but yeah. Yes.
Regarding admission,
Yes.
so you come across some families saying like they hard time getting kids in here. So
Mhm.
I'd like to understand what's the infection rate and what is one of the main reasons for.
Yeah. When I started here, I think there were 8 or 9 international schools. Now there are 21 international schools in Chiang Mai. Education in Thailand, education in Chiang Mai is through the roof. People are coming here for education. Our admissions office processes over 100 different applicants every time. So it is a bit of a strict criteria with the English language proficiency being one, the WIDA testing that they go through. And then, like we talked about, that 80% needing to be international Christian workers or missionary families, it leaves an even smaller number for standard families to actually get into the school. So it's quite challenging.
One maybe an idea, because 80% of 300 is 240, 80% of 500 is 400. So what is the capacity for the school in terms of student body?
Correct.
Because if the 80% is like, if you grow it to like 1,000, you require 800 missionary kids, but maybe that's not the possible number.
Yeah.
But the demand and the school space could still support more students. So is there like a 80% or above a certain number? Then kind of like that.
Yeah, at this point, we're limited by the board's mandate for that 80%. The actual capacity of the school with the classrooms we have is about 668. So we're already at 640. So if every student in 3rd grade, all 44 students say, we're going to go to 4th grade, then there's no openings. So if every student in 4th grade says, I'm going to 5th grade, then there's no openings. Now, sometimes there's a little bit of leeway we can give, but typically our classrooms hold about 24 desks per classroom. So we've done the math on the figuring on what's capacity. So long-term plan, like you said, is to go to 1,000, but we're trying to finish phase one and get where we are comfortably with that, and then the educational spaces will be set. So even these new 2 classrooms but those are even elective classes, they're not the core classes. So, yes.
To help answer Zen's question, it may be helpful. I talked to Fawn. I think we allowed 99 new students this year. There were 384 that rejected, but she said there was actually more like 200 that weren't even in that 384 number because they didn't even get to their test. It might be a good time to mention masters too, Steve. I don't know if you're planning to do that later or now would be a good time, but I think that helps fill that need for the 384 applicants that could.
Yeah, there's another new school starting called the Masters School, specifically trying to cater to Chinese families, I think that's hopefully starting in August. But again, there's 21 international schools now, so the influx, and you've even seen it on the roads. The traffic is gotten from. I'm here 13 years now in Chiang Mai, and it has changed. It is really different. So yeah, thank you for that. Did that answer your question, or yeah?
The goal is 1,000. Where did the next 300 seats come from? Is that one of the phases? Or?
So drawings have additions to the elementary and the high school building, and then possibly middle school. But again, we're gonna finish these other phase ones. But earlier drawings do show another 4 classrooms for elementary, another 4 classrooms for high school, and 2 additional classrooms for middle school.
I think from the other school like Lana, they always increase the youngest group first.
Yes.
So they'll take in like maybe one more class of kindergarten or something.
Yeah.
And then because that same group of students will advance.
Right.
And then they'll kind of like slowly grow the school that way.
Right.
Usually that's how.
And the other consideration then is the staffing. Just because you add more classrooms, now you need another 10 teachers. And that provides its own challenges as well. And then that also the immigration only really allows a certain amount of visa slots for us, depending on the number of students. So you're kind of hemmed in by what the Ministry of Education also allows as far as how many non-Thai visa holding teachers we have. So it's a puzzle, it's the constraints. Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. My name is Daniel.
Yes.
We have joined Just Family starting this year.
Oh, good.
January. So I was staying in Dubai in Middle East for almost 2 decades.
Okay.
And we call international person workers.
Okay.
With international organizations like Antioch, Texas.
Okay.
And we are doing service for the MBBs.
Right.
Yeah. So, when I applied for the GS, so should transfer to relocate here,
Mm-hmm.
and I did send all the letter from the organization. And the thing is, when I applied for the discount, so there thing happened to me that the administration asked me the full time ministry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were doing, but we still right now we're doing is we have most of us we have a job. Work.
Right.
Yeah, and we doing the mission to the Muslims.
Right.
Yeah, doing the ministry. So it's kind of like that. So in that, so I was not able to receive.
Okay.
The discount.
Okay.
So do you have any qualifications? You know the standards.
Yeah.
How,
Daniel, why don't either you send me an email, or if we can get your name, I'd love to set up a chance to talk with you, and let's go further with what that looked like and what happened and the experience you had.
Sure.
Yeah, if that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So before you leave, let me make sure I have your email.
Okay.
and then, yeah, we'll set up a time to meet. Okay, good. Thank you for that. And you had a question?
My name is Richard.
Hi, Richard.
And I'm new family
Okay.
here for last year. My son just entered the kindergarten.
Okay.
Actually, I'm from Hong Kong, and I have some questions about the submitted enrolling application of the school. Because I have some friends from China,
Yes.
Hong Kong, they are in other international school, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
They heard my son get a chance to enter the Grace International School, so many people got around me because why you get the chance to go into the Grace International School? I told them because my son has a good English because we're training English at home every day. So, but some people not a Christian, they want to go into this school.
Yeah.
I think it's very good, but we just left it like you said, 20% opportunity for them.
Yes.
So, but nowadays everybody gets the applying mixed it together. So we have no fully comes out who is the really Christian family, who are not. So I think if we got a chance, we can separate them. If we really have 20% for the no Christian family, we could have a channel for the no Christian family application, and some of 80%, you take 80% for Christian families, Christian, and we should check the verification or something, some fiction by Christian organization like that. We should separate it totally and give the ecosystem. Let everybody see clear why I'm not getting the chance for the for the
enrollment, right? Yeah.
So I think it could be separated, all of things.
Right.
Things that will be better, not mix it together.
Right. Thank you.
So it's my suggestion for this.
Thank you for that. And again, Kun Wai is taking notes, and she can help me, and we can reflect on your comment and maybe that suggestion, and maybe that's something, Richard, we could explore, other options. I admit it is challenging for especially our standard families to get in when we have such an emphasis for the international Christian workers, and so we acknowledge it. It is hard, and certainly that English language proficiency is one key factor. We've even explored how would we help a family to say, well, you didn't get in this year, but here's steps that you could do to help prepare you to reapply for next year. So maybe that's a great suggestion for us. Thank you for that. Yeah.
This feedback, I literally have I go into Chiang Mai Ram and my doctor says, how do you get your kid into Grace?
Yeah.
So it's that's kind of the popularity. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing that Grace is facing. Being on the athletic side, I actually know that some of the Thai staff say that every time, the day after Grace has a match, they get more calls about how to get into the school because they love the way that our kids have behaving, especially in away games and things like that. So that's a good testimony.
Well, it's a testimony to you as the parents. We really, partnering with you is one of our values that we have on our mission, vision, values, and core values. And you all have tremendous kids, and we're privileged to be able to partner with you and work with them. Well, great. Well, I'm going to answer. I printed off the questions from the community that some of you have emailed or sent in, or you didn't see everybody's questions, but I'll kind of go through. And in the remaining time we have, if you do have a question though, please feel free to raise your hand, but I'll try to go through. So thankfully, this parent, GIS, a wonderful school. We acknowledge we do the best at capacity and from what the Lord. Even though GIS is an international school, the majority of the population is American, and unconsciously, the predominant culture is overtaking the international idea. What are we doing at GIS to intentionally generate international community for insiders and outsiders to perceive it consistently? What other steps are we taking to generate a solid Christian intercultural community? No doubt we get this repetitive question with over 64% of our student body American It is the highest population with over 80, I think it's 86% of our students return to the U.S. or go to the U.S. for college. So with that high level of population and college preparatory attendance, then choice for this school was to choose the AP, Advanced Placement Curriculum, which again does come from the U.S. Our accreditation comes from ACSI, which is Association of Christian Schools International, and from WASC, the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. So both of those are U.S.-based entities. So in some ways, naturally, there will be very much a U.S. feel. The calendar starts in August and ends in end of May, as opposed to some of our other nations, nationalities, and countries that start in October and go through June, or different cycles that they're on. So it's a very valid question, and it is something we do keep in front of us. So we do, with 26 different nations and nationalities represented on our campus. U.S., Korean, Thai, and Chinese are our 4 top populations. On my leadership team, I have from Ireland, from South Africa, from Canada, and then the U.S. and Thai. So at least 5 different nationalities, at least on the leadership team of the school. And then all the different families, students, and nationalities. International Week that we try to host. Other cultural things like the Lunar New Year events that are happening with placemats in the cafeteria, the bulletin boards, other celebrations. Another aspect that started several years ago was a belonging initiative. And this is something that was born out of kind of this question, is how do we, from the community, how do our students feel like we belong or are a part? Because we do look so Western. And so a parent group actually meets annually, and they address different questions or concerns or issues. They do surveys and research, and they try to establish those trends or those feelings. So one of the things we do is we rely on those parents to help us with that temperature gauge, and what are some practical action steps we could do. Changes in the menu, the different foreign languages that we're able to offer, the different events that we have, music selections sometimes that the choir or teacher does with different dialects or different nationalities represented through music or song. So there are ways that we attempt, we try. We realize we look very American in some ways. It was funny because for some of us as Americans, we would even go, we don't look very American. If you were to go back to the U.S. and see an American school, you would see our school and go, that's not American. But the reflection that's very valid that our families have is, wow, that's too American. And so we totally understand and feel that tension, that balance. So we are aware of it. We do try to name it. I noticed one of our Crew Phi, our Thai teacher, Mimi M, our elementary PE teacher, greeting students as they come in Korean and Thai, speaking to them in their heart language. We have several on staff who speak Chinese and would speak Mandarin to the Chinese families. So I love that our staff at times are intentional to try to talk and engage with the different nationalities. So it's not perfect, but we do listen and we do try to understand other ways that we can be. Most international schools will choose either the British IGCSE curriculum, the O level, or the U.S. advanced placement. And so whether you go to one of the other international schools around here, they're typically going to choose one of those two types of curriculum. And so there will be some natural bent to the coins that you look at in the class as we talk about counting money. The textbook is going to be in dollars, and so the different currencies. So yeah, I hope. And I'm standing here as an American, and I'm trying. I do want to be international, and I do think we're trying to make those strides, and I do value hearing other ideas and suggestions how we could do better. But maybe that gives a little. Any other question or response? Does that explain
Like one
something?
random one where that would be as an international school. I did the British one. I did that.
Okay.
But, and I'm fine with my kids doing AP. That's not a problem. But I think one of the things that gets them a bit confused is something as simple as imperial versus metric. Because I mean that is specifically probably 99% of the world uses metric nowadays, and it's specifically America that still uses imperial. And so that kind of thing makes them confused when they go out into the world. The rest of the world is like, we don't use that, or feet and all that kind of stuff. So
Exactly. No, you're exactly right. Having those. One of the comments a parent had written earlier about being a little more international was, I'll get to that on one of these, but in chapels, for example, can we have a couple of different languages when they're singing the worship songs? So it's not just English, but there's Thai, there's Korean, there's Chinese, there's a different, and so those are very valid, kinds of little things that we could do to provide another avenue of that. GIS thrives in academic and sports. These activities include homework, making the student very tired every day coming home from high school. How do we prevent student burnout from sending the wrong message that grades and extracurricular activities are more important than pursuing rest in the Lord? That is a great question. As I have raised my own 5 children, and some of them a little more high achievers as others, some of my children at this school would talk about, I got a bad grade. And they have this pressure on them to make high grades and study. And we kept asking, where is this coming? Because, we are wanting you to do your best. But if your best on a math score is a C or a B, then that's fine. We kind of know their level, their gifting and ability. So if they don't make an A or the honor roll, but we don't want them making D's and F's if they're making poor choices. So what I'm trying to say is, as a parent, we have to have those conversations with our kids about margin, about balance, about, I want to join the chapel core team. I'm going to play on this varsity sport. I'm going to be the Stuco president. I'm going to go on Night Bazaar evangelism. I'm going to do this. And the list gets so long, they don't have any time. And they are exhausted. And so part of it as parents is, we have to kind of sometimes pull the reins back and shepherd a little bit. Also at the school, I know from my own experience, I did have, like the spiritual life director at the time with my son, questioned about his being on the chapel core team because he was playing varsity sports and he was in the Chansong choir and the classes he was taking. So we do have, time to time, our teachers are observant and looking and going, hey, wait a minute, before you make this commitment, let's think about, what else is going on. And then I think also specifically trying to provide those opportunities for our students to grow in their faith journey with the Lord. to be able to go to your church, the church functions. We've had multiple times when there's a tournament, athletic tournament, and the Korean church or a church is having a Saturday event, and that's a high value for the family. It's fine. The student goes to the church event with the family and can't participate in the athletic event. That we would support that, as a school. So when there are those types of things, or Anchor is not a part of GIS, but it's on Wednesday night, or your church might have other fellowships and things, I would certainly encourage you to have those conversations with your students as well about, hey, let's make some choices about how we have time and margin to be sure we're having our quiet time, prayer time, fellowship, Bible study, those types of things. So it's not perfect, but I mean the world today, wow, our kids are just trying to, you watch them on their screens, right? It's like 1 second and their attention span is just, so to sit quietly with the Lord for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes with their Bible open or praying, that's probably eternity, for them. So, yeah, I don't know if that fully answers that question, but we do see it and we are aware. Yes?
I was wondering whether the school can work with the teachers about giving, like limited homeworks. Because when they come home, they should be with the parents, right? 80% to 90% of the time they are at school. And so that time, if they are busy doing homework up to 10 p.m., then parents and kids, they don't have time together. And even on weekends, if they have tons of homework, like Saturday, Sunday, they are busy doing their homeworks because they have a homework submission on Monday. So whether we also agree about the academic excellence, but then I think parents and children, the healthy atmosphere is also important as well.
I would agree.
So if the school can also, work with the teachers to say, weekends, there should be no homework for the students. And then limit a little bit of the homework, because we see our children struggling and we also want them to excel. And so there's the high quotient. The children are stressed. And we want them to enjoy learning as well.
Yeah, I totally echo. And like when our kids were choosing AP classes, because those are advanced placement classes, and our kids they think I got to have 5 APs, and we're like, you cannot sustain 5 APs. Unless you don't do any sports, unless you don't go to worship night, unless you don't have a life. So that's not really good. But for some, they're just really driven by that, or their skills, or they're gifted. So that's an individual choice that a family can make. But again, working with the parent, having that conversation with the teacher about the workload and the principal, I would encourage you to seek them out and have that conversation. But as a parent, we often had to remind our son and daughter about what else are they doing, that like the social media or different things like that, to curve back. Because we did want time with them. Time at the dinner table, oh, that was precious. When you can engage with them and no phones, and you hear about their day and stuff. So certainly acknowledge the challenge in that.
I'd like to respond. I have a kid in middle school and I have a kid a child in high school as well. The middle schooler is like, she says she's drowning in homework. My high schooler literally never has homework coming home, and I wonder why. And I'm like, are you slacking? Her grades are good, so I was wondering what was going on. And she has other classmates who are in the same class, and they're drowning with homework. And I asked them, how is it that you can do this? And she says, because when I'm in study hall, I work, they play. So sometimes I realize that, okay, so actually some of our children we have to figure out sometimes where our children are like, what they're doing in school as well. That's part we can't actually see. but my middle schooler is like venting at me all the time that there's too much homework. And I feel like maybe middle school the elementary to middle school transition needs to be figured out a bit better. But for the high schooler, by the time they get there, I think we need to figure out what kind of discipline they have in the school as well.
It is an uphill challenge for us as parents, especially in today's age with things. It's very different from when I was growing up, and we didn't even have the internet, you know. We came home when the lights, you know, when the sun went down, and had dinner, and then, you know, kind of things different. Well, we are pushing time here. I wanted to try to answer a few more of these questions. Management should improve efficiency, spending every penny on the community where it's needed, and not dampen the enthusiasm of those willing to contribute to GIS community. So the only way I interpret answering this is, as Phil shared, we kind of have a plan mapped out for the construction or things we want to build. Some of those do include infrastructure things, like we've finished the staff parking lot. Well, now we want to start working towards the parent parking lot, and then the reserve parking lot over near athletics. So in steps and stages, and as we have funds that have come in from the donors, then we kind of pick a project or something. But some projects a donor might have in mind for something, but it doesn't exactly fit maybe that plan or that scheme. And so sometimes we have to reject or say, I'm sorry, we can't follow through with that at this time. And so maybe that was hurtful for someone, I don't know. But when I was at Faith Manila, we probably had about, and again, this was several years ago, but we probably had about 10 or 12 things on our list. And the number 12 was the swimming pool. And the donor, he came, we didn't really know everything, and he goes, well, I want to buy your swimming pool. I want to do that for you. And we kept, well, it is on the list, but the auditorium's up here, you know, kind of thing. Well, he built the swimming pool because it was on our list. We did go through with it and everything. And then he turned around and built the auditorium, you know, for us and so forth. So sometimes you never know on how things work and all, but the progression that we would like to get is those academic classrooms so we can get more students in. Then some of those more extracurricular things to come later. So hopefully that answered the question. Can you please give an update about staffing? We did that. Better teacher longevity. Does GIS have a roadmap? And I mentioned that earlier, that yeah, we've been working on things, like I said, from November starting forward. We've included benefits for our staff, like the non-tie can actually get health insurance through the school, and that has been a benefit. We do an incentive. If you're a first-term teacher, you've given us 2 years, and you sign up for the next 2 years, we'll do a plane ticket home for you, a return plane ticket, so not just a one-way, but a plane ticket back as well, because we want you back. So there have been a few things that we've been able to do that we do what's called the Best Christian Workplace Survey, and that survey has indicated that we are in a flourishing state, meaning our staff are actually very happy, very content. Okay? Dual enrollment. Somebody asked about, are there dual enrollment courses? GIS currently does not offer dual enrollment classes, meaning you take a class here, an AP Biology, and it also is an enrolled class at Liberty University or Hongdong University in Korea or something. So we don't really offer that dual enrollment. There are students who are taking AP classes or other classes, some of them even like foreign languages like Russian or something, through a university, but it's not through the school. So it won't be on your transcript from us, but they're getting that college credit at that university. So there are some students that are enrolled early at a university and taking classes, but it's not. So that is a discussion we are having about dual enrollment, but currently we do not offer that. Any question? This one says Thai language learning athletic schedules are released late on the transportation policy for off-campus activities. We do offer the Thai language learning. It is a pretty basic model of Thai. Our Thai nationals are required to have a much higher level and rigor of Thai than the non-Thai families. So our Thai students actually move through something more rigorous. Our non-Thai, it is often a lot about culture. It's often about the minimal learning of language. So we've had families that have done tutoring or hired other Thai training elsewhere, but within our school system, we do offer a minimal Thai language introduction. Athletics does try to communicate as early as possible. Having had all of my children go through athletics, and 3 of them here at Grace, it can be very challenging to keep up with when a game is scheduled or rescheduled or canceled or whatever. So we're working on that. That was another part of the band app type thing. If you're part of one of those varsity sports or U16 or U14, hopefully the coaches are doing better at posting as soon as they know. Things like AQI, roughly before 1 o'clock, our athletic director has to make a decision about whether or not to play a sporting event or not, because if the air quality is over 150, 200, we typically won't play. It's hard to read because often by about 3 o'clock, a little shift in the wind or something comes along and now you're down to 100 and people go, why aren't we playing the game? And so it's challenging in that. We acknowledge that. Transportation, one of the ways that the school keeps the school affordable, we do not have a transportation department. There is a wonderful parent who organizes all of those song towels and vans. She does a tremendous job. You should all send her fruit baskets every year for what she does. It's incredible how she organizes that. We stay in communication with her when there are changes, early closure or different things. For example, last year when we had that bomb threat and we had to close the school early, she got right on it, got those song towel drivers and vans, and thankfully we didn't lose any students, kind of thing. But we do rely on you as the parent to transport your son or daughter to and from those extracurricular events. If it's a school field trip, like they're going to go to the zoo or McDonald's or something, we do provide, we'll hire those song towel drivers or silver vans for that. So hopefully that answers that question, yeah.
I got a few questions with regards to stuff you just said. The Thai one, I think that we talked about it quite a few times over the years, but this year the transition from elementary to middle school was pretty bad. And it's not even Martin Choi's fault because he wasn't here. But what happened was that there were a lot of long-timer students this time around. Usually, sometimes that's a good mix, but there were a lot of kids who had been here literally from 1st to 6th grade. And when they moved over, most of them expected to get into Thai too. But they did not do any kind of assessment at all. And there was an assumption made that everyone was at a low level.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of kids ended up having to rehash all their elementary stuff again in middle school. And there was a lot of dissatisfaction among those kids. And they tried to make a compromise. They ended up with Thai 1.5. But there was a lot of unhappiness with the kids.
Okay.
Where they felt they weren't, what's the point in doing this?
Right.
We'd rather have a free break in some cases. With regards to athletics, I appreciate everything that's being done, but it's not actually on the coaches right now. The bottleneck is not the coaches. The bottleneck is the communication from the athletics department. As a coach, as well as a parent of varsity, this year was really challenging because we, the coaches, were waiting. We would chase them, nothing. And as a parent, and I just got this feedback because ACSC just finished in Fayetteville, so our kids came back. And a lot of the things could easily be a SOP, a checklist that we could get in advance, but everything kept being given to us so piecemeal and late.
Okay.
Staff and coaches and even students were scrambling to go to immigration the day before they left because
Wow.
of re-entry, and we didn't know what was going on. A lot of things, some of it, considering that we travel so often,
Right.
and we have so many waves all the time, some things are just SOP. We
Right.
have a checklist
Right.
available for that
Right.
already. So, I mean,
Once.
and with regards to the songtell, I think this is a feedback from another parent who asked this one was, I don't think they have a problem with Kelly and the songtells. I think it's during school outings where we are perpetually, like, desperately looking for drivers to ferry our kids to and from. And then if we don't have any, then people are still begging on the day before. And yet there's such high prerequisites and requirements for anyone who is going to be a driver, the background checks, you need to be a school aide and all these kind of things. Sometimes I wonder whether it's just possible to rent and hire some of these vehicles rather than perpetually desperately seeking for parents to drive these kids. And some of the kids end up having to break the rules because there's not enough vehicles. Kids are sitting in the front, they're piled up in the back. So is there a way to just rectify that? I'm
Thanks.
sure parents are going to pay.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that question up. And we actually have had parents pay for, like, hey, I hired a songtell and you can ride on it, send me 50 baht or, whatever kind of thing. And at one point, the Ministry of Education also, I think it was as a result of the bus accident in Bangkok a few years ago, where that field trip and the kids were horribly burned, staff, teachers as well, that all of a sudden the school has to have background checks on all those drivers, and those drivers have to have passed a certification thing and have qualified to be a driver. And it was even more challenging then for us to hire a driver. I'm not sure about this year, if that's changed, and I was gone at the first semester. So thanks for both of those comments, and I will look into those a little bit and see what we can do to help improve that communication. Thank you. We were running close on time. It's already almost 3:15, so I certainly understand if you got to get your kids, grab a muffin and you can head out. I'll answer a few more questions, and so if you're available to stay, please do that. How is the curriculum chosen for a Christian worldview? How do you handle families coming from different faith backgrounds? So GIS actually does have a rigorous way of choosing the curriculum. It, again, sometimes is dictated by that accreditation agency. So we're on a 7-year cycle of review. Every 2 years we do review. Currently we're under the review of our biblical studies curriculum. So there is the principals, a panel of others that review that with our curriculum instruction department on the textbooks and things that we choose. One of the questions also in here was about creation and evolution and what does our science teach. We actually have a science statement. So I'll read it really quick about how we try to infuse a biblical worldview. Some of our textbooks may not be Christian. They may not come from Bob Jones University. They might be a very good textbook, and it might mention things about evolution or something. But we would always teach it from the biblical perspective out of Genesis about God's plan for creation and that believing all things are created by God. Teachers at GIS believe that God is sovereign creator of the universe. The details of how it are subject to interpretation and to a large extent awesomely beyond our ability to comprehend. Many of our science books are written from an evolutionary viewpoint. They have been chosen for many other qualities, knowing that they would pass through the filter of teachers with a Christian worldview. Teachers in every grade level effectively stress that evolution and the age of the present in the book are theories, and that students need to think analytically and be prepared to defend what they believe. Students also hear what the Bible has to say about creation and the different interpretations of Scripture. We consistently encourage our students to talk with their parents about their beliefs. From our personal handbook, section 8 625 is an interdenominational Christian school such as GIS. Promoting controversial doctrinal matters is unethical and it's contradictory to Christian courtesy and charity. The faculty and staff must be careful not to impose such doctrine on students, meaning we are not trying to force your student to be a believer in Jesus Christ. So we present the biblical worldview, but we do get feedback from students that feel as though we try to just cram Christianity down their throat. It's certainly present and evident, but we should not be making your child feel awful or that because some of you are coming from different background beliefs, and that's okay at our school. We're not a covenant school like that where at least one family member has to be a believer. While the issue of creation may not be strictly denominational, the essence of the policy is applicable. For many of us, part of the joy and blessing of GIS community is the opportunity to come together with believers from backgrounds, traditions, to examine what are the essentials of being Christ followers. We simultaneously challenge each other to find our own thinking and stretch our appreciation of the diversity of gifts that God has given to fulfill His purposes. So that is a science purpose statement that we do have, and I can make that available. Might have time for one more, unless there's one more on the floor. Any other questions from you all that showed up? Yes?
Is there a parent-teacher association or organization?
So that's a great question. Yes and no. It seems our Korean parents have a pretty good network of coming together. It seems that our Thai parents have a pretty good network of coming together. It seems that our Western families, as it's supposed to be parent-driven, from time to time we've tried to provide incentives. We've offered opportunities for there to be leadership or structure or coming together. And no one has, from the Western community, said, oh, I'll help be the spokesperson or organize in that. So at the moment, there is no official parent-student association. It is something I am looking into, is how we get that started again for next year. I think that is one of the missing components for our community, to have community, to begin to develop community, to have that shared bonding of coming together to support the staff, the students, and the community. So it is a void and a gap that we are in. Yeah.
I mentioned we did have a strong one, but when the families moved on.
Yeah, there were these three ladies that said, oh, we'll do it. And the three ladies got together and they grabbed three other ladies, and there were like 6 of them, and they were busybodies up here doing everything, and all the time decorating and just all kinds of stuff. And so if there's ladies or men that want to posse together, get together and say, okay, hey, 3 or 4 of us, let's do it together, and we want to get this started, I would love for that to happen. Yeah. Great. Well, you guys have been wonderful. I hope there was one last question about the computers at a young age, elementary age students getting computers. On our website, we do have information about you as a parent can have what's called Bloxy. The computers already come with a Bloxy on it, and our current firewall has blacklists of things that the students should not access or can't access. When they go to your home with the computer, you don't have our firewall. So you need to have that conversation, and you need to be monitoring what your son or daughter is doing on the computer that they're sent home with. There is a parent control called Bloxy. You can program it to say from 3:30 to 5:30, the computer can be accessed, and then after 5:30 it shuts down. There's ways to go, oh, what sites did they see during that time? And you can review and look at those sites So as a parent, you have a lot of control, a lot of things you can do with that. If you need more information on that, please let me know, write to us, our IT department, find it on our website, because we don't want your children being vulnerable to something that is out there. Through my mission agency, almost monthly, I get, here is the training on scams, on the phishing that they're trying to do, ways they try to hook you. And I'm, as an adult, this stuff is dangerous. And so knowing, as the scripture says, Satan is a roaring lion roaming to and fro, looking for whom to devour. Your kids are in his crosshairs, and we don't want that. We really don't. So we're not just giving them a device and say, well, here you go. We want to equip you to partner with us, and whether it's on the phone or whatever. Parents, these are just, as I've raised my kids, these are conversations, and it's every year it's younger and younger and younger and younger. So if you need more information on that, please let us know. But that is available to you. We've had parents that just said, my kid's not going to use his Chromebook when he comes home. He's going to bring it home, plug it in, it goes on the counter, doesn't open it. If he needs the computer, mom or dad lets him get onto their computer that's under their firewall or their whatever. So there's ways to do it without them having to be on the computer. Okay.
For my wife.
Yeah.
With regards to uniforms, school uniforms,
Mm-hmm.
whether there's a way to standardize school uniforms, because right now, I mean, a lot of parents struggle, especially with bottoms, pants and shorts,
Right.
getting it from the right places. And for the high schoolers, sometimes there's a question of consistency with regards to how you get dress coded or not, and what is allowed, what is not allowed. And even in terms of being availability of the right kind of uniforms, it's really, really hard. Not everyone can go to Old Navy, for example.
Right.
Or Uniqlo sometimes doesn't have the right stuff. Or even my daughter came back very upset. She was really cold in the classroom. She wore the school jacket, which has a hood on it. She put the hood up and she says the PSMO doesn't allow hoods, or the teachers across the school don't allow hoods to be put on. Then the question is, why does the school provide a jacket with a hood?
That's a great question.
So,
Well, look at the time. Thank you. Sorry, we don't have time for that last question. No, from year to year, dress code is always that issue. And we went away from the standardized pants, skirts, and things because of the same complaint we had. This doesn't fit my daughter, my son, or the length. And our vendor was way out on Superhighway and getting him here. And then, of course, in middle school, the kids grow 3 or 4 inches. So a skirt that was fine at the beginning of the year, they get to January and you're like, whoa, kind of thing, or, kind of stuff. So the enforcement of it is on us to try to provide that consistency about this material or the pockets or whatever. But we tried to give more options for families to choose bottoms. In our charter, we must have the school navy shirt with the logo, as far as like the charter that says uniform for the school. We've offered gray as an alternative color from time to time, and then years past we had, red, yellow, maroon. I mean, there was a variety of colors. But then that got so expensive because parents are buying. So it's not perfect, but by allowing families to make some choices about the bottoms, hopefully is helping. And I feel like we've had less complaints with that method than when we had the uniform shop with the certain bottoms that just people struggled with. And so, yeah, I don't know that there's a magic answer to that. I'm a Star Trek fan. Maybe we'll all go to the unitards, right? Everybody just looks the same in those unitards. We could do that. But Well, guys, you all have been fantastic. Thank you. We're already coming up on 3:30, and I know if you've got kids, they're going, where are you, and everything. Please feel free to email me with follow-up questions or responses that you might have. But thank you for coming and participating and being a part. Please take the cupcakes with you and everything. Nice to meet you. Yeah, okay.